All right, so let's take a look at where we left off. We've got enemy ships coming in. They fire at us. We can fire back at these ships. And um, what we need to do is, I think, even register like some of the collisions that are happening so that when our ships hit them, we can instantiate some particle effects. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to right click, and you could see down here there's effects, and you've a particle system, force field. Go ahead and select particle system. Right, so let's go in here and look for, let's see. It's kind of hard to see. I know my screen's a little small. Look for, let's see, we have start color here. We click this drop down. Let's do, actually, let's do color over lifetime, and let's expand that out. And then go ahead and click on this. What this will do, this will give us a nice gradient that the color will change before it disappears in our scene. So what we can do is you could select this color, and what we'll do is we'll have it go from a yellow to orange to black, and then to transparent. So the way that you could do this, if you click this top one, for example, you could see here's my alpha. If I bring this all the way down, you can see it's transparent. And then down at the bottom is our colors. So if I select a nice orange here, we'll start with like more of a yellow. And then I click again, and then I just kind of go down this way. So I make that more of an orange. Move that over just a little bit. And then this would be kind of a smoky black or gray. And then same thing, like what I can do up here is I can sort of put a, just the color, an alpha up here to control how that alpha is going to be. Same thing with this one. I want it to be a little bit stronger. Like you'll see the smoke a little bit fizzle out before it goes completely like transparent here. So something like this. I think that looks pretty good. And then it falls off, and you could see here, you could see how they're going from orange down here all the way up, and then they transfer it out at white, so it looks more like an explosion. All right, so the next thing we want to do is go up to shape here, and right now it's a cone. If we go to something like a circle, it's going out into like a 3D space here, but it is a circle. We just need it to face the camera. See how it kind of looks more like an explosion? So let's click back on 2D here. And the reason why it's doing that is because if you go up to the top here, by default, the rotation on this is set to -90. So if you make that 0, you can see now it's facing our camera. And also, we're going to make this a prefab. So go ahead and 0 out the position. So 0, 0, 0. And we don't want it to be this big. We want it to be smaller. So it looks like when we hit it, it hit our enemy ships. These just appear. So a good way to do that is in your start lifetime. And what you can do is a random between two constants. So let's say our start lifetime is it 0.1? And that might be too big. And then 0.5. No, I think that's okay. You can kind of left click and just sort of drag this out and play with the different amounts. But because we're going to be hitting a lot of these, let's do 0.1 here. I think that's enough. Once it hits, it'll create that on the ship itself. So you'll have a lot of these nice ones, and we want them to be quick. And let's go ahead and, there's only a few particles here. We want it to be a little bit more poppy. And the way we do that is if you go into emissions, you can see there's only 10 over lifetime. So say we do 50 here. I think that's good. And you could play with it. If you feel like it's too much, you can do 25. I'll stick with 50 for now. Yeah. Actually, now that I saw that 25, I kind of like that better. I always err on the side more on subtlety. Another thing is our particles look like they're all the same size. So what I want you to do is, let's see, where is our, we could use we could just scale them up, but size over lifetime is nice. And now you could see that they kind of fall off. And if I click on this little arrow here, we could do a random between two constants or a curve. So if we do random between two constants, I could say 1 and, for example, just for effect 20, you can see how big they are. So maybe 1 and 2. And now you can see that they're random. They're random sized. Again, you could even say, you know, if you feel like that's too big, you can do 0.5 and 2 or 1. I think I'm going to find my own sort of in between here and do 0.5 and 1.5. Actually, something else I could show you too is we can click on this and we can go back to the curve if you want. Sorry, this one. Go back to our curve. And if you click on this, let's see if I can get back in here. See if I just pull this up maybe. There we go. And the curve is it's starting at 0 and getting bigger. If you flip the curve like this, you can see now they start off big and then they fall. And that actually gives us a little bit more orange to yellow. So I'll leave it up to you. If you like this one better, you can keep that. Or you can use the two numbers. The two numbers gives you a little bit more control, but it's more of a linear line. Not that you couldn't do that here too, but you could see it's still starting at 0 and going to 1.5 here. And the next thing we want to do is right now it's looping, so it lasts forever. And it's actually lasting for a really long time. It's lasting for 5 seconds. So if I uncheck this and I restart it, you can see they'll stay in the scene for a really long time. So we could try something like 0.2. And now when I restart this, it just kind of like, it'll more register something more like a hit. Like when we shoot, it'll hit the ship. So in our prefabs folder, let's go ahead and drag this particle system in there. And let's just call this explosion. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this from our scene. And I'm going to pause the video. And in my scripts folder, I'm going to go ahead and instantiate this prefab in my health script. So you can see we have ship health here. And you can see this is where we're checking if we're taking damage or not. Now, it's important to note that if you decide to create like 100 different effects for your game, you want to create a script that sort of manages that, and then import those into each ship or each script depending on, like, so if you have a health pickup and then it has like hearts that pop up, things like that. But anyway, inside of here, I'm just going to duplicate this line of code just to save me time from typing serialized field. And then instead of health here, I'm going to just start typing particle. And I don't know if this is, oh, we don't want to int here. There we go, particle system. And then we just want to name this hit effect. Okay, good. That hasn't changed since in Unity 6. All right, so if you remember in our, we have a trigger enter 2D here. So what this is registering is anytime somebody or something that has a trigger on it collides with either the ship or the enemy. And so we're saying if damage is not equal to null, right? And so what is damage? Well, we have a damage script, right? So get component damage. So if we look at our ship here for a second, we'll look at the player. And let's see. Let me go ahead and hit F12 on this. There's our damage script here. And this registers the amount of damage. And it looks like, let's see. Did I not put it on here? It's on here. Get damage, receive damage. So maybe our player is also missing the damage script. Let's see. Interesting. Oh, well, you have this hit effect here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we grab our explosion particle and drop that in as well. And I'm going to go ahead and add that damage script. That's interesting. I'm surprised I didn't get an error on that. Maybe I was, but because what's happening is we have ship health here. And if we collide with something, it's supposed to, I mean, I guess because I have this null check in here. But now we should be able to check damage. So if we look at our damage script here, we have a damage amount 5. So back to our damage script here. I'm going to just start typing out play hit effect. I'm just going to type out the name of the method that I want to create. And then I'm going to just go in between here and hit control and period. And I'm going to let it create the method play hit effect. Now inside of this play hit effect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to create a temporary variable just to store the hit effects as they're instantiated in the scene. So we always want to do the same thing that we're doing here. So I'm just going to copy this. And if you have an issue where if you copy it and you forget to alter it, don't copy it. But what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, if this hit effect is not equal to null, that means if we actually have one loaded into that slot here, this explosion slot. So if hit effect is not equal to null, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable, a temporary variable called player, it's of type particle system. And it's just going to be an instance. An instance, you'll see this a lot in a lot of different tutorials or programming, or like if you're working in a studio, you'll see them use the word instance a lot. And what they're just referring to is this is a single use of whatever is being used or being instantiated in. For us, it's going to be this particle effect. So I'm going to say instance equals instantiate. And then I'm just going to hit enter to put this on a new line. And so what are we instantiating? We're instantiating the hit effect. And remember, there's 3 parts to this. I mean, you could have 4, like the fourth being like the container, but we have the effect that you want or the thing that you want instantiated in the scene. And then we have the position, which is going to be whatever this script is attached to. So this could be the ship or the enemy ship. And then which is the rotation angle. So we're just going to do the same thing that we've done before, which is quaternion.identity. And then we're just going to put a semicolon here. Now, the next thing we want to do is actually destroy this particle when it's done playing. So we're just going to use our destroy here. And what are we destroying here? Well, we're going to destroy this instance of which is the particle effect. So we're going to say instance.gameObject. And then remember, the second value is the amount of time it takes. Now, if we look at our particle effect here, there's a couple things. I'm going to leave this open. But we did a, let's see, a constant between 2 lifetimes for the amount of time that it's in the scene. So we're going to have to use that. So the way we can get the length, we can do instance.main, which is like we're grabbing it from our scene, dot duration. And this is how long our particle's in the scene. And then we're going to add another attribute. Sorry, not a comma, but a plus. And on this line, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab the overall, this constant value here, we're going to add that to it. So the duration is just how long it plays through our scene. But also, we want to grab that constant max value between these two. So we're going to do instant.main and then I think it's constant. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it actually showed me here. It's dot start lifetime dot constant max, and it's registering from my scene that this is, see how it says start lifetime here? Here's start lifetime, and then this option constant max is what we selected here, which is the, let me click this for a second. Let me click that again. Sorry. If I click this, you can see here's the different options, and we have a random between 2 curves, but they're constants, and this is the constant max. This is what gives us access to that. So I'm going to save that. All right, so also select your, let's see, enemy ship 1, and let's see. Here's our shot. Here's our damage script. And we never added a ship health to this guy either, huh? Jeez. So here's our ship health. So this health has 100. So let's go ahead and make this 5. And then for the particle, let's link up this explosion here too. Save that, and then save your project as well. All right, let's go ahead and test this. Let's see. So I'm going to shoot. There we go. I think because my bullets are so high, you can see, and I only have 5 health on each one. So let's actually make this 20 for our ship health, and then for our enemy ship health is like 20, just so we could see it a little bit longer, and our player will do that one. Oh, that's set to 100. But I think these enemy ships, when they deal damage, they're set to like, yeah, 99. So let's set that to like 10. So now when we press play, I won't die as quickly, but they should last a little bit longer too. I think I might have to adjust some of these other values. Let's see, enemy ship health is 20. So let's make the enemy ship health 100 and the damage amount 10. Let's see. And what about this guy? Player health is 100. Oh, damage amount is 5. Player health is 5. See if that changes anything. I could be missing also like something in my script where the values aren't adjusting. Like I could have tweaked something, and we could do that in another video. But let me see if these guys just die right away. Yeah, they just seem to. Oh, you know what it is? It's because the bullets are what's controlling that. Like you saw how the bullet hit me and I didn't die. It's when they crash into each other they explode. But the projectiles aren't doing as much damage. So if you want to adjust that, notice our damage amount is 100 here. You have to make this 10 and maybe this 10 for the red and blue. And that's why when we press play here and my ship got hit, it didn't do anything. But with these guys now I have to like hit them a lot. See, they're not dying as I shoot them because, the bullets aren't that as strong as I'd like them to be for this first level. And that's something else you could do, like make upgrades and stuff. So your projectile damage is a lot higher. So actually, I don't even know. Let's see, enemy ship damage. I don't know if we necessarily need this damage script on these. Well, I guess we do because if we crash into them. Did I mess something up where, sorry, I'm just visiting this project again later. Anyway, that's good for this tutorial. We'll go back through as we continue. I get back into working on this. That we'll clean a lot of this stuff up.